What is going on YouTube? Your boy Zane is back with another video tutorial of a challenge cache register with JavaScript algorithm and data structure projects section of the free code camp. So without further ado, let's get diving into the exciting part, which is, yes, you guessed it, coding. Right. So this one says that design a cache register draw function check cache register that accepts purchase price as a first argument price, payment as a second argument cash, and cash in draw as CID as a third argument. Alright, so cash in draw is a 2D array listing available currency, which they mean this one here. The check cache register function should always return an object with a status key and a change key. So we always have to return an object, okay? Return status of insufficient funds and change of empty array if cache in draw is less than the change due, or if you cannot return the exact change. So that's our first scenario. The second one is we need to return the status of closed with this the spread operator array with cache and draw as the value for the key change, which is this one here, if it's equal to the change due. Otherwise, in all other scenario, we need to return the status of option with the spread operator in the change key. So if you don't know what spread operators are, I'll highly suggest you to see my other video tutorials in which I've actually explained the exercise of the spread operator as well. Alright, but this video is beyond the scope of the explanation. So it says with a change due in coins and bills sorted in highest to lowest order as the value of the change key. So it, it gives us all this currency table with basically how many hundreds have we got. I mean, how many notes of hundreds have we got? $20 notes, $10 notes, $5 notes, $1 notes. I mean, coins, quarter, dime, nickel, pennies, so on. All right, and these are all the various test cases we need to pass. So first of all, we're going to be needing a array, same. I mean this one. So this table in a I would say array format, or yeah. So I would be creating an array first. So I would say var. I would name it as CID, which is cache in draw in descending order. All right, and I'll explain you guys further on why are we making this as a descending order. All right, and just to save time, I will copy and paste the array of objects in here. Okay, cool. So now that we have got that, so we need, first of all, we need to calculate our change. So we need to know how our change value, how much to give to a customer. All right, so how are we going to do that? By creating a change variable. I'll just remove this variable from the top, and okay. And then how we how we gonna calculate the price? I mean the change. We would say cash minus price. Okay, so essentially cash is the amount what the customer gives us, and the price is the actual price of the product that they're purchasing. Okay, cool. So now the next thing we need to know that how much money is, I mean, how much cash is in our cash drawer. Okay, why do we have to count, I mean, determine that? That's because we need to know if we have to open the cash drawer or not. So if we haven't got enough, we need to say we have insufficient funds, or the drawer should remain closed if the changes uh, if the customers has given us the exact amount. Okay, but that's I'm not gonna do that at the moment. I'm again skipping steps. I shouldn't do that. So first of all, let's sum up all the cash that we have got in our cash drawer, and how we're gonna do that by adding up all these values here. All right, which have already been provided to us in the form of cash and draw. All right, so I'm gonna do this with a for loop. There are a million of other ways you can also use reduce method of JavaScript. Yeah, so I'm gonna do it with a for loop. So var I, yeah, the typical. So that's var I that and then I is less than what our CID array's length, which is this one here. All right, and now we need to keep incrementing I. Perfect. All right, so um, I'm gonna create another variable to store the sum of the cash draw. So cash draw sum. Okay, and I'll initialize this to 0 for now. And then what we're gonna do is we need to add all these values. So 101 and nickel is 2.05. These values, and sum them up and put that in the variable for cash draw. So I'm gonna just say cash draw, and then add it to, I mean uh, uh, so I'm gonna say add all the values here, okay, in our variable called cash draw. So I'm gonna access the array here with every index, okay, and then get fir the first index of that particular index. So in this scenario, uh, this is our, I mean, this is our entire array. So we're gonna get the first array, and then say I need the first value not the penny, the first value or the first index of this particular array. Okay, so I'm gonna say 1, which will give me the values. So if you see now, you're gonna get the values, I mean the sum of the values. And why is it saying error? Oh, my bad, got to do that. So if you want to see 1, the first index gives us all the values, but if you want to get these strings, they are at the 0th index, so you can just do 0th index here. But we want the values, so I'll do 1. Okay, and then I will keep adding all the values in this variable. Alright, cool. So now that we have got the total value of the cash in the drawer, we're gonna be we are gonna be doing this scenario. So it says that if cash in the drawer is less than the change due, so I'm gonna say if cash draw sum is less than the change, then I just want to return this entire object here. Alright, simple as that. Okay, and similarly else if so now we can do this scenario here. So it says if the so cash in the drawer as the value for the key, so if it's equal to the change due. So if our cash draw sum, no, yeah, if our cash draw sum is equal to the change due, so we're gonna say else if, I would say, yeah, that to be else if then it was cash draw sum is equal to change. Then what do we want to do is we want to cash device, those have to be round brackets, so we need to return this object here. So yeah, so we don't need to open this at all. Okay, we're not gonna open the cash register if the amount that the customer gives us is equal to the cash draw sum. All right, cool. So that means that one now that's done. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reverse this array over here, which is the cash in draw. I'll tell you guys shortly why will I do that. So cid dot reverse. Oops, I forgot to put that in the case. Yeah, nah, sorry, my bad. That was supposed to be in a lowercase, and why is this saying it won't be passed? Forget this one for now. Yeah, so that would come in here. Okay, cool. So now uh, now we're gonna be calculating this scenario here. So with we need to return open with a change due in coins, bills sorted in the highest to lowest order. So this is why I I I created this array of objects in descending order, because we need to start from the highest and go to the lowest. Alright, so I'm gonna say var result, right, and then descending order, and then I'm gonna use the reduce method here and say if my function, so my accumulator, again, if you don't know how to what does this what does this reduce method do, then I'd highly suggest you to look up online, because this is not the scope of this video. Alright, in general, but I will explain to you what is doing in this particular context of the challenge. Alright, so accumulator next, and then the index. Alright, so basically what I'm doing, I am getting I'm gonna be doing something particular in this in this space here. Okay, with the accumulator next, and the index, which is my each and every single indexes here. Alright, so I'm gonna say if my change, so saying customer gives us the cash more than the price of the product, then we need to give them the change. Okay, so I'm gonna check if the change is greater than my next value, which is essentially these values here. Okay, and then I'm gonna say if it is greater than my next value, then I will get the I will need a current value as well, so that's why I'm initializing into the current value. I'm initializing the current value, so I'm gonna say now while my change is always greater than the next value, and the array's index, so arrays index. Okay, so arrays index and the value index are 1. The arrays index, which is this one here, so that's my array, and this is the value here. So I'm gonna say if that value is greater than or equal to my next value, so what I'm gonna say, if that is the case, so I'm gonna put the current I'm gonna add next value to the current value. All right, and then I'm so say for example they've given me I don't know, $50. All right, and the next value here is 100. It won't come in here. Okay, it won't come in this while loop at all. But if they've given me 50 and that's greater than 20, then it will also check if my index, which is this one here, is greater than next value. Yep, so if it is, then my current value will be my next value. And no, my next value will be my current value, which in this case is 20, and then I will have to calculate uh, the remaining of the change as well. So I'll just decrement the change variable by the next value. All right, cool. So that one's done, and then I'm going to say, because hang on, I'll just explain the first step in this case. So because JavaScript has some really fussy ways of dealing with these decimal points, so I'll add a bit of a magic line over here. So I would say change equals math round it, and then change multiplied by 100, and then divided by 100 as well. Okay, and then I'm gonna simply set the next value to no, and then I'll just decrement the CID index. Okay, 1 by the next value. All right, so uh, um, then what we're gonna do is, as soon as we have given the customer all the required change in this order, then I'm going to push all my denomination and the current values to my accumulator. All right, so accumulator push, and then my next denomination, and then current value. All right, now that I've got my change in the proper order, all right, which is in this way here. So I'll just give you an example from one of the test cases in this way. All right, actually let's show you it instead of just telling you. So I'm gonna also return accumulator, and then I'm gonna show you what exactly goes. So return accumulator, Alright, and then let's show you how does the change actually come up. Accumulator. Yeah, here we go. Have I spelled it correctly? Oh well, I think there must be some kind of a free code camp environment thing that's not showing up. But yep, I'll just continue. So so here I'm just calculating the change that I'm giving to the customer in terms of every single notes and coins which was specified over here. So with a change during coins and bills sorted in a highest to lowest order as the value of the change key. Alright, so here I've done that, and then I'm gonna say if it's if this is not the case, then I'm just returning the accumulator as it is. Return accumulator. Alright, so now that's done. I need to close the function as well. How do I do that? I think it's in this way. I'll return, and then I need another bracket, and then a comma, and then empty brackets. Yeah, cool. So here, what I'm just saying that I'm calculating the entire change. All right. Yeah. Cool. So then, what? Actually, let's see how many test cases are we passing now. But why does this say no? Ah, my bad. I had the extra piece of code here. All right. So now, let's see how many tests did we pass. Oh, accumulate not defined. What did I do? Accumulator. Oh, I think I spelled it incorrectly. Okay, so we're passing two tests. All right. So now we are going to return an object as well. Yes, we needed to return an object. Ah, I haven't put this semicolon to terminate these lines here. Alright, so so now this can go. Okay, cool. So now what I'm gonna do is we are missing one more concept, which is that here we are not passing an I mean we are not returning an object, okay, for this part here which we have to do still. So I'm gonna say result, and then um, dot length, because it's my array, isn't it? Cool. So if my result array is greater than 0 and my change, oops, my change is equal to 0. So which means that I've got, say, I've got, I need to give the customer some change, but I don't have any change in my cash register. No, sorry. If I haven't, yeah, so if I need to give my customer the change, but my cash register doesn't have enough in there. Alright, so what do we want to do? We want to, I'll do the ternary statement here. So essentially we want to return an object saying that status open. So status would be open, and change will be of my result. Okay, cool. So but so now, if my, I mean, if the result that, I mean, if the change that I need to give my customer, which is coming from here, okay, is greater than 0, and my change is equal to 0, then I need to open up the cache drawer and give them this particular change, which I've calculated over here. If not, then I'm just saying return, no, status, and then insufficient funds, and then my change would be an empty array. Alright, let's see if this works or not. Hopefully it would. That's what I'm hoping. Okay, no, it's not working. What did I do wrong here now? I've obviously messed up somewhere. So it's saying that this open change, so this part isn't working properly. What did I do there? So I've got the result, yep, and it's here the descending order, yep, reduce, I'm using that, then accumulator, next, and then the index as well. Yeah, so now I'm saying the change is greater than equal to my next value. Then I'm defining it, and while my change is greater than the next value, and CID index value, the first index is greater than my next dot value, then I'm just putting the current value and appending it to, appending the next value to current value, and then decrementing the change as well. Change math round, yep, change is multiplied by, yep, yeah, this should work. Why is it not working? And then accumulator, I'm pushing it to next denomination, which is, yep, denomination here, and the current value which is coming from here, and then I'm simply returning the accumulator. If that's not the case, then I'm just returning the accumulator by itself. And then I am closing this. Yeah, empty array. And then at the end we return the result. If the array is greater than 0 and change is equal to 0, change operator, then status is open and changes result. My bad. Status insufficient funds, right? Just to be sure that I don't do any spelling mistakes here, copy and paste here. Open insufficient funds. Yeah, this should work now. Let's have a look. No, it's still not working. So we have passed 4 tests and 1 and 2 are still not passing. Insufficient funds. So where are we going wrong? So let's just go over this part because this part is failing, I'm pretty sure. Again, cool. So change is greater than next value. Yep. If it's this, it is that. So we do console. Yep. And then we do this. What's the index coming for this one? CID index. This should be at the value 1. None. Right. That might have been the issue. What's wrong with this? CID index. Whoa. Why did I include the brackets in the index arrays brackets? It's not supposed to be in that way. So that bracket has to come after the index. Yep, that was the case, I'm pretty sure. So if we just do this, include the 1 after the index bracket. Yep, that should solve it. I'm 100% sure now. Yes, finally, and cool. Right, so I'll quickly go of the overall solution. So first of all, um, we created an array of objects in descending order because we had to get the change and sort that out from the highest to lowest order. That was the reason why we created that, and then we had to find out what the change was, and then also the total sum of the amount that was in the draws, I mean the cash draw, and then we found out the cash draw sum by the for loop. So we kept on appending it to the cash draw variable, and if uh, if the cash draw sum was less than the change due, then we simply returned insufficient funds. However, if the cash draw sum was equivalent to the cash due, then we just uh, remain the draws closed. Okay, and then I've already told you why we reversed the array, and to find the hardest part of the challenge was to give the change in that particular order. So we saw that if it's if the change due is greater than equal to the next values, so in this part we were just iterating through these values here. So if the change is uh, greater than 100, then we would do all this part. So change the current value to the next value. You can just observe. I mean, imagine how in real life scenarios we give out the change broken down into notes and coins. That is exactly what I'm doing here. And then I push all the values and the denominations in this array here, and then I'm just returning it. However, if this wasn't the case, then I'm just returning the accumulator by itself. All right, and at the end I am just checking that if the change array, I mean the resultant array is greater than 0 and there's no change, then we just, I mean the change is equivalent to 0, then we just uh, open up the open up the cache drawer and give the change. And if this is not the case, then we're just returning insufficient funds and no change at all. All right, I really hope you guys understood this, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial of a challenge. And also, if you guys have any other questions which I've got to cover, then please leave me a comment below and I'll try my best to get back to you guys. Until then, have fun coding!